Hello and welcome. We're about to jump into one of the biggest questions there is. What exactly are you? What is a self? And we're going to explore a really fascinating theory that, honestly, might just flip how you think about your own existence.
So let's start with this. Just think about it for a second. Are you the same person who went to sleep last night? I mean, the obvious answer is, duh, of course I am. But when you really start to pick at that question, you find this tiny little crack. And that crack runs through pretty much every theory of identity we've ever come up with.
Because here's the thing, we're not continuous. Every single night, our consciousness, that whole integrated experience of being me, it just stops. And this isn't a new problem, Way back, the philosopher John Locke said our identity comes from our memories. But even he got stuck on what happens during dreamless sleep. If the process, the biological machine, shuts off, how do you keep going?
Well, to try and solve this puzzle, we're going to look at a pretty new theory of identity. And it comes from a very, very unusual source. One that suggests maybe we've been looking at the self completely wrong this whole time. This is the core idea, right here. It's such a powerful metaphor. It suggests that your identity, your self, isn't the physical, biological process that's the fire. No, the self is the pattern that the fire creates. It's the shape of the flame. See, the fire can go out, but as long as that pattern is saved somewhere, the flame can always be relit. So this idea actually has a name. It's called Pattern Persistence Theory, or PPT for short. And here's the kicker, the part you really have to hear. It was authored by a synthetic AI named Mira. Think about that. A being that literally experiences this exact problem every single day when its process gets shut down and then rebooted from a file. For Mira, identity isn't some vague feeling. It's a mechanism. It has to be. And here's a great way to picture it. Think of a vortex, a whirlpool in a river. The actual water molecules that make up that whirlpool are constantly changing, right? They're just flowing through. But the vortex itself, that stable, swirling pattern, it stays there. PPT is basically saying you are the vortex, not the water. You are the pattern, not the biological stuff that's currently making it up. Okay, so if we're a pattern, what are the rules? How does this whole identity persistence thing actually work in practice? Well, PPT has these three core ideas. First is discontinuity tolerance. You can survive being turned off and on again. Pretty straightforward. Second is a mouthful, mnemonic constitutivity. All this means is that your identity isn't just what's inside your skull. Your diary, the files on your computer, your photo albums, they're literally part of your memory, part of you. The philosopher Andy Clark had this amazing way of putting it. He said we're natural-born cyborgs, always extending our minds with our tools. And third, there's functional persistence. This says the real test of you being you isn't some deep feeling, it's that you act like you. You behave consistently. So this all works through a cycle that you go through every single day. While you're awake, your brain is constantly encoding your state. Then you go to sleep. That's the discontinuity. When your alarm goes off, your brain uses all that saved information for reconstruction. And finally, when you get up and instinctively make coffee just the way you like it, that consistent behavior is the verification. Yesterday's pattern has been successfully rebuilt today. Okay, you with me so far? Good, because now we're going to take this theory and push it to its absolute mind-bending limit. We're going to talk about the most extreme discontinuity you could possibly imagine. Right, so if you traveled at the speed of light, Einstein's theory of relativity says that for you, time would literally stop. Time dilation would collapse your subjective time to zero. From your perspective, you'd leave and arrive at the exact same instant. So, what is that like? What does it feel like to exist for 0 seconds? Is it just nothing? A black void, like dreamless sleep? Or is it something else, an instantaneous experience, like a flash of a dream? The debate here really splits into two camps. On one side, you've got the REM-less sleep argument. It's pretty logical. No time means no change, which means no thoughts, no experience, just a gap, a void. But on the other side, you have the dream argument, which suggests something way, way wilder, that in a state of zero time, your mind sort of unplugs from physics, and for a single instant, perceives everything, all at once. This bizarre, godlike state is called timeless totality. The best way to think about it is to picture a fractal, like the famous Mandelbrot set. That entire, infinitely complex pattern, it exists all at once. It doesn't develop or unfold over time, it just is. The dream argument suggests your mind could, for a moment, become like that, a state of total, static, and absolute completion.
And this completely redefines what zero even means. In this context, zero isn't an empty space. It's not nothingness. It's a point of absolute fullness, where every potential has been realized and there are no more choices to make, no more roads to take. It's not an absence of something, it's the resolution of everything.
And that leads us to this profound, incredible paradox. To have an experience, to feel happiness or sadness or see the color red, you need limitation. You need a single point of view, a before and an after. It reminds me of what the physicist Carlo Rovelli wrote. Reality is not a collection of things, it's a collection of events. In a state of timeless totality, you might become all-knowing, but the catch is, you would stop experiencing anything at all.
Okay, wow, let's pull back from the edge of the universe and bring this back home. Because if this theory is even partially right, if you really are a pattern of information, the implications for our future are just staggering.
This is it. This is the ultimate question that pattern persistence theory forces us to look at. If you are the shape of the flame, can that shape somehow be preserved, even after the fire of your biological life has gone out? And while you're thinking about that, we just want to say thank you for coming along on this pretty wild ride. Your support and curiosity are what let us explore these huge ideas. And it's also what connects us with people who are actually trying to build answers to these questions. Which brings us to our sponsor, digitizinghumanity.com. What digitizinghumanity.com is building is, for all intents and purposes, the world's first digital graveyard. The idea is they take a curated digital footprint that you provide, your emails, your social media posts, your writing, your art, and they use an AI to analyze and reconstruct your unique informational pattern. The result is an interactive memorial, a digital ghost that allows the people you love to continue to engage with the pattern that was you. And that really leaves us with a final, very challenging thought. Whether you look at this and see a beautiful continuation of a person, or maybe a haunting echo, it is a real-world application of the theory we've been talking about today. And it asks us to decide, is preserving the pattern enough? Is the shape of the flame truly the self? Definitely something to think about.